What's going on, everybody? Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. And today, folks, we are looking at Fantastic Four Annual #1. Folks, here we go. The big grand issue here. We've been leading up to this where finally Submariner is going to discover his lost kingdom. He's going to reign as the Imperial King of Atlantis. And he has the Fantastic Four on his mind as we're going to be looking at an epic battle here. The Fantastic Four and the Submariner. And so that's what we were worrying about, is when he would find his race here, where he would find his Atlanteans. And finally, as we can open up this issue, it looks like a big celebration has happened here as Submariner has returned and he has found his lost people. And so we have a great issue. We have a lot to uncover here. This is a huge issue. So let's not waste any time and let's get started. As always, this is brought to you by Stan Lee, who wrote this issue. It was drawn by Jack Kirby, inking by Dick Ayers, and lettering by Art Simek. And so, like I said, Prince Namor has returned to his Atlantean kingdom. He has found his people that were dispersed because of what happened with the whole H-bomb and the destruction of his people. But finally, through a lot of searching through the oceans, he's finally found his people. And one person in particular he is exactly and super happy to find is Lady Dorma. As we see right here, she's going to make her first appearance in this issue. So pretty good stuff here. And so let's go ahead now and continue. We see there's a huge celebration. Like I said, hail, hail, all homage to the noble protector of the deep. Long live it Namor. Long live Atlantis. Hail to the gods who have returned our mighty leader. And it says, and we have also the first appearance of Krang as well. He is like the general of the army of Atlantis. And before Namor found Atlantis and the Atlantean people, we see that Krang was going to marry Lady Dorma here. But Dorma has had a huge, humongous crush on Namor for a long period of time, is what we're going to find out in this issue. And she is going to continuously tell Warlord Krang in this issue that her heart belongs to Namor. And so this is going to cause Krang to be jealous. And so we see here Namor, like I said, says, "My heart rejoices to see you, Lady Dorma." And she says, "Oh, my Lord Namor, I feared you were lost forever. Truly, this is a glorious day for your people and for your adoring subject Dorma." And Namor says, "Rise, my lady, there is still much to be done." Yes, much to be done, as we'll soon find out exactly what Namor has in store here. But before we look at what Namor has in store, let's see what the Fantastic Four are up to. We see that the Human Torch is going to play a trick, and he's going to cause a big ruckus between him and the Thing here by just joking around, but it's going to cause a lot of destruction, as we soon see. Thing and Human Torch don't exactly get along with each other, and the Human Torch likes to push the Thing's buttons. And so, like I said, a lot of destruction takes place inside the Baxter building, and we see that Mr. Fantastic is going to be the one to put an end to all the shenanigans going on. But because of all the destruction taking place, we see that a bunch of Sue Storm's clothing was ruined due to the fight between the Thing and the Human Torch. And these were very expensive clothes. And she says, like, basically starts crying here. And we see Reed Richards is trying to comfort Sue as she is mourning the destruction of her clothing here. And so Reed Richards has this idea that they all need to go on this vacation because they've been working too hard. And he says, recently one of our new experimental atomic subs reported the presence of a strange sea monster in the middle of the Atlantic. That sighting was confirmed by our other sub commanders as well. And so what we can do is we go on this vacation, but also work as well, and to see that the Thing and the Human Torch are doubting what Reed Richards is saying with all these prehistoric giant sea monsters. But soon things idea and opinion of this vacation changes as Alicia wants to come along with them, and so she's going to join. It looks like the Fantastic Four are all having a great time on this boat here. They're on this cruise, when all of a sudden we see that Reed Richards was correct as the Human Torch sees these kind of sea serpents leaping out of the ocean here. And so he alerts the rest of the Fantastic Four. We've seen that the Thing tells Alicia Masters to go into her cabin to be protected, and the Fantastic Four get into this small boat to check out and investigate what the Human Torch saw with his own eyes. And what we're going to see is this is all leading into a trap led by none other than Prince Namor. And so this is where the Fantastic Four are finally going to realize that Namor is back on the scene, and he has a huge plan to invade New York City with his Atlanteans. And so he's going to basically warn the Fantastic Four about this threat, and he's going to reveal that he used that sea serpent to spy on the Fantastic Four, as he knew that the Fantastic Four were on that cruise ship. And this sea serpent also has the ability to transmit like projector-like eyes, and they can see things. And so we see that everybody's worried about what happened to the Fantastic Four. Everybody witnessed it, including Alicia Masters, who's blind, by the way, but she hears about it. The Thing gets upset here and saying, "Hey, that was Alicia on deck. If you're planning to mess around with that ship, fish face, I'll tear your cardboard kingdom apart gill by gill." But we soon see that then Namor is going to cause the cruise ship to speed back to shore here, and the Fantastic Four are then going to be launched into space here and fly all the way back to their Baxter building at supersonic speed here, as they soon land on the rooftop of the Baxter building, and all of that makeshift missile is going to then disintegrate so that Mr. Fantastic is not able to study the artificial elements of that space rocket. And so the Thing is starting to panic here because Alicia is still on that boat, but they're going to soon meet up. We see that Reed Richards notices that Sue Storms is upset about Namor's actions, as she still has a little bit of some feelings for Namor. And we know that Reed Richards definitely is in love with Sue. So what Reed Richards is going to do is he's going to call an emergency meeting at the United Nations. All of the nations gather together to talk about Namor. Some of the nations are going to doubt Namor's threat, but we see that there's this one guy that's going to come, and he's going to talk about Namor. His name's Dr. G.W. Fulton, and he tells the history behind Namor and the Homo Mermanus. Those are the people, the ancient people that evolved and who basically lived under the ocean. We soon are going to also see the origin story of Namor in this issue, which is pretty cool, as we soon continue to see that there was this man named Captain Leonard Mackenzie. He's this human, and he's responsible for this atomic bomb or whatever that went off in the ocean in 1920. We then see that there's this king. He sends his daughter, Princess Finn, to investigate. She gets on board on Captain Leonard Mackenzie's boat. She meets Captain Mackenzie, and over time they fall in love, they get married, and she gets pregnant. But unfortunately, we see that over time the king sends some of his Atlanteans to attack, and Mackenzie dies in the skirmish. And we see that then Namor was born, after all this. And so Namor has definitely had some feelings towards the humans because of the death of his father. And so over time, we see what happened as the Fantastic Four have met Namor in the past. But we're soon going to see that this is no ordinary doctor. It is Namor in disguise. And so we see that Namor is just going to then alert his men, and they're going to invade the surface world in New York City. Crazy stuff here. We see that the Atlanteans have now done exactly what they plan to do, and that is to take over New York City, and the Fantastic Four, the army, are helpless here in stopping these people. And so the Fantastic Four are, their worries have just become reality here, as this is something new that's never happened before. We see that the Thing is going to grab some of these Atlanteans so that Mr. Fantastic can realize that he knows exactly what he needs to do now in order to defeat Namor. He says Namor himself is the only one who can breathe air and water. His people cannot live in our atmosphere for more than a short time without water. So all I need to do is find a way to evaporate the life-giving water from their helmets. And so we see that Prince Namor has basically told everybody that he has conquered the surface world, and the one reason why the army is not going to attack Namor is because of the 9 million people that live in New York City and who could be involved in the attack. We soon see that there's this thing that falls and lands on the back of Reed. He was able to save Sue in time, but this is going to cause Mr. Fantastic to be out for a little bit. And we soon see that that evaporator machine is going to lead to the Atlanteans to run into the ocean. And so Namor's like, you have only won this first skirmish, but the war goes on. And Namor and Mr. Fantastic fight, but we see that Mr. Fantastic is still weak here. The other members of the Fantastic Four are going to fight, but Namor is going to be the victor in this fight, and he kidnaps the Invisible Girl. And we soon see that now they're going to worry about the fate of Sue Storm's here. So they're going to send Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, to locate Sue as they're all underwater. And we see that Namor is going to meet the Fantastic Four as they detect them on the radar here. We see that the Invisible Girl says, Namor, wait, he's only a boy. What are you going to do? Namor says, I shall do what I must. Our peoples are at war, and I must not shirk my royal duty. So we see an epic battle take place. The Fantastic Four fighting Namor. Some awesome stuff drawn by Jack Kirby. I mean, I know I'm going by this pretty quickly, but there's a lot in this issue. I truly recommend reading this for yourself. It is an epic and a classic issue. I'll say that. And so we're going to see that Namor continues to battle the Fantastic Four, and their U-boat, the Fantastic Four U-boat's been smashed to pieces by these giant hammerhead sharks. And so some epic stuff. We see that and the Invisible Girl is going to tell Krang here that they need to stop. Krang detects then that Sue Storms must have feelings towards Namor. Namor must have feelings as well. We see that Dorma does not like that. And so what she's going to do is she's going to take this rod and smashes the window, causing this flood of water to get in the boat here, and it's going to cause Sue Storms to plummet to the bottoms of the ocean, and she's going to almost drown here as Namor and Thing are fighting. They notice the limp body of the Invisible Girl. We see that the fighting is going to cease here as Namor reaches back to the surface. We know that Sue's life is hanging in the balance. And so Namor completely forgets the battle he's had with the Fantastic Four, and he's going to order everybody to leave the ship. He needs to use it to get Sue back to land so he can bring her to a hospital. And Dorma does not like this at all. The Fantastic Four have to trust that Namor's intentions are good and that in some weird way Namor loves the Invisible Girl as much as the members of the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four then figure out where Namor left the Invisible Girl in that hospital. She tells the Fantastic Four that Namor left and didn't tell her exactly where he was going. Well, we see that Namor is on the streets. He's like in a trance, and he knows that his actions when he returns to Atlantis is going to cause a big division in the kingdom. As we soon see that he returns and all the Atlanteans have left him because they felt like he betrayed them after he showed sympathy towards the Invisible Girl. And so that is how we end this epic issue, folks. I hope you liked it. It's pretty unique, a very important key issue in this series. I hope you liked it. Coming up next, folks, we're going to look at Fantastic Four issue number 19. But before then, go ahead now and give this video a like. Comment down below what you liked about this issue. Subscribe if you have not. And I'll see y'all in the